This is easily the best Samsung phone to date, but it's not perfect, and it may not be a full-time iPhone replacement for hardcore iPhone users, but it's easily a yes for those eager to try something different. And why is that? One word: fundamentals. This wasn't a redesign or anything groundbreaking, it was just refinement, software optimization, device efficiency, and battery life. These were the core changes needed, but there's still a few things missing. Let's get into it. YouTube! Back with another video, and today we talk about the Galaxy S23 Ultra after the hype. And let's just say Samsung did not come to play. They brought the heat, they brought the smoke. My boy Coco over there cooking up some hot cocoa with this one. Now let's just be real, it's arguably the best phone as of right now in the hemisphere. From the design and from first glance, when you look at this device, there's not much different from the S22 Ultra, but that just means Samsung this year, instead of just always throwing, the kitchen sink into the cook-up, they decided to focus on refinements and fundamentals. And the best refinement and fundamental that they gave us with the S23 Ultra is optimization and efficiency. This is what I've been expecting and wanting and pushing from Samsung for years. iPhones get talked about year after year for looking the same and only having refinements and fine tuning. But Samsung started to realize that in that refinement and fine tuning, you keep your day one, your consistent users the happiest, because now your device is yielding the optimization and the efficiency that's expected out of these expensive smartphones. Let's talk about it. The S23 Ultra is not cheap. It's literally probably the most expensive flagship device. Now, when you pre-order, you get little discounts when you trade in. Very much true. But if we look at the hardcore retail value of this device, it's quite high. But is that price point warranted? I mean, it's honestly a personal decision when it comes to how much you should spend on a smartphone. So keep it personal. But this year, there's also an improvement in cameras. Now, on paper and specs, megapixels for all those people who spec peeping, it may not look the same, but that's not the difference. The difference is really in the performance and quality that you can get out of these lenses. Now, I have a gripe personally with the standard camera app. Not my favorite. I get into RAW or Pro Mode, Pro Video, Pro Camera, and I use those devices because that's where I can fine tune it and get it to closer to where I would love for it to be. Now, unless you have an ND filter as far as video goes, you're cranking shutter in bright situations, which doesn't yield the smoothest video. But all in all, I made a video about Pro Video features, and you guys can check it out. It'll help you get better results. Not perfect, but better. Now, let's address the elephant in the room when it comes to these cameras on the S23 Ultra and every other Samsung device before and after, it seems, and that is the shutter lag. So many years, Samsung has consistently continued to have this shutter lag that everyone complains about, that new users get it, and then they're like thrown off by the fact that, hey, previous phone that I used to use that wasn't a Samsung, I can snap a photo quickly, I can snap a photo with movement, and I can capture that photo smoothly. But when there's a shutter lag, that photo is not gonna be as smooth. That's my one biggest gripe with this camera. I also have another small one, and it's mainly in the, default camera app. Just fine tune the color science. That's all I'll say there. If you get past the shutter lag, if you get past the shaky color science in the standard app, and you move into the ability of these sensors, and if you get the Pro Video tutorial that I left you, then you're able to see these camera sensors shine and show their true potential. But all in all, I was highly impressed with these cameras. I had to give them the I was wrong type of treatment, because in the beginning I cooked them. Color science wasn't to my liking, but then I went in the Pro app, Pro Video, Pro Photo, and I was amazed. I'll just leave it there as far as cameras goes. But then there's another thing that everyone loves on this S23 Ultra, and rightfully so, and that's just gonna be the display. This display right here, thing is popping. High resolution, typical of what you expect of Samsung, just high quality video, high quality photo. When it shifts to you, it comes in a mode called Vivid, which just makes colors pop a lot more. And to the average user and the average consumer, that right there just makes this display absolutely phenomenal. But
to users that are more like me, they're a little bit more snobbish about actual color science and color accuracy when it comes to your display, you're gonna wanna switch it to natural. I switched this display to natural, and I've now raised it from, I used to put iPhone displays always here. Now, oh, Samsung makes iPhone displays. Samsung makes OLED panels for a lot of people. That doesn't mean that it's not calibrated to the iPhone Apple standard. So just understand that Apple says, hey, we want to calibrate it like this. Samsung says, all right, we'll manufacture it and we'll make it. Boom. So it's Apple's design and their color science on that Samsung panel. I used to put them here and I used to put Samsung here. But after shifting to natural, I'm about, like it's neck and neck. And the reason why color accuracy matters is because, you know, P3 gamuts and all that, and how many 93% RGB you hear the nerds talk about. Long story short, I wanted to edit the colors and edit things, you know, in a photo or whatever, and I want it to be represented properly when I go to share it on different platforms, or when I move it to a more professional working area, such as my, you know, Final Cut Pro or my DaVinci Resolve setup or whatever I'm into, Lightroom and things like that. You just want what you're editing color-wise to equal what you see on another display that's calibrated and so forth. But that's just a pro-snobbish perspective. From the general consumer, these displays are absolutely phenomenal, and I love what Samsung does with them. I want them to keep making these displays as great as they are, and as they are, they're the best displays in the smartphone game, I guess. I can say that, right? Yeah. About to upload this video and go viral. What you doing, bro? What you mean what I'm doing? I'm about to go viral. What you talking about? Bro, I'm gonna use this viral Drizzy track. I'm gonna put it on my vlog and I'm gonna go viral. It's as simple as that. Don't work like that. Wait. What you mean it doesn't work like that? This is called YouTube. This is my tube. I upload whatever I want. Listen, yes, it's YouTube and yes, it's your tube, but it's not your music. Explain. Listen to this, bro. If you go viral and you make 100,000. 100,000? Guess what? Drizzy about to get like 60, 70 racks of that. Whoa. Wait a hot second. You mean to tell me if I upload this viral vlog, which it is, come on, player, and I can make 100,000, Drizzy get like 60, 70K possibly? Oh no, player. What's that website you was talking about? Bro, I told you, Epidemic Sound. Link down in the description, get 30 days free. We gonna use that, told you. And I won't get a copyright strike. Man, I've been told you that. Which means I get to keep all of my paper? Yeah. All of my assets? Yeah. So if I go viral and I make 100,000. 100,000? I make 100,000. Right. You gonna get 100,000 and I'm gonna get 50. Say less. Everyone has their preference when it comes to what they like, and no one is wrong. Like, I prefer Apple displays over Samsung's, but I prefer Samsung's over Apple. I'm confused. And shout out to this year on the S23 Ultra. Another reason why people are excited is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is worldwide. No more Exynos, that was the Samsung chip. Never experienced it, thankfully, because I've only heard mixed opinions on it. I'm just saying off of what I've heard and what I've seen. Not the best operating chip, but with Samsung leaning on Qualcomm for their Snapdragon chip, and then Samsung having their own One UI 5.1, which goes on top of Android, a lot of hands involved. And if they're all not singing in the same, you know, note and harmony, there is no harmony. Samsung, Google, Qualcomm, all are singing on the same note, and it's making magic. And that's what the rave is about with the S23 Ultra. Now, if you got an S22 Ultra and you in your budget, you in your pocket, you in your, hey, yo, I wait 2 years, wait, because if Samsung does this again with the S24 Ultra, then it is on and popping yet again. It's more hot cocoa for everybody. But if they don't, I will be quite disappointed, because battery life in this thing is phenomenal. Again, like I said, with standby time, battery lasts a significant amount. Even for the heavy users. Hit the comment section below and comment what you think about this S23 Ultra. I'm not always heavy. I'm only heavy in the beginning, but even for the heavy users, this battery life is impressive in comparison to previous Samsung devices by far. And even in comparison to the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which were the battery kings until now. I mean, you know, now Samsung can actually compete on a battery optimization level with the iPhone Max devices, basically. So that's wonderful news because the playing field is leveled there. I mean, it's even, it's close. It's head to head in the area of battery. But the next area could never be head to head because it's all individual, and that's user experience. I told you guys, this is a pricey phone. It's pricey for a lot of people if you have to pay full retail, but I also told you guys these are always on sale. Get them on sale, get them with pre-order deals. That's the ideal way of how you purchase these devices. You don't want to pay full price. Even if you buy in unlocked and so forth, get it with the deal. You know, that's why we do the pre-order, get the little extra something or whatever. Sometimes they give you the storage upgrades. I seen a lot of carriers giving crazy discounts on this device this year. So catch it on discount. Now, for my people from last year who are feeling left out, but you're on your cycle, I told you again, just chill, be calm, cool, and collected because there's always the S24 Ultra. Now, if Samsung screws that up, woohoo, wait for that video. If Samsung continues, wait for that video. It's gonna be fire. And wait for that experience is basically what I'm saying. But from a user experience perspective, you guys can't tell from my enthusiasm, this device has been great. It's been smooth. It's been like that type of feel I want. Like, I use Pixel devices for the Android software experience because it's like the most ideal Android software experience in my opinion. It was always the truest form, but as One UI matures and scales back a lot more and then achieves this type of optimization with the S23 Ultra, you start to see it like really level. You know, the things with Pixels and Pixel devices is they're not as premium, high-end, impactful. They're more like, hey, we're just relying on our software. We're giving you a decent device. I mean, they can change my mind this year. We see what they're doing with the Pixel 8. But I'm just saying in comparison, you know, with One UI 5.1 and this Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and what we see going, this magic and this harmony is really starting to level the playing field there. But I typically would go Pixel for software experience, go Samsung for feature packed, you know, over the top, bragging rights and all that stuff. And just go iPhone because iPhones are iPhones and they're in their own little, you know, space and bubble and so forth. But at the end of the day, user experience has been fun. It's been enjoyable. It's been great. It's looking great over the long term and after the hype because there's always the hype, but it's also like, how's it doing long term? That's why you guys always get these long-term reviews from me, especially like 6 months down the road, 9 months, and even a year. Should you still buy this device, like, you know, once the new one is out and things like that, and do comparison videos. I got a bunch of comparison videos with the S23 Ultra versus the iPhone, versus the Pixel, versus the Fold. So check all of those videos out. Do your research, take your time, and make a sound decision. But I will say this, Coco got some hot cocoa with this S23 Ultra.